Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Many of you have seen this very disturbing and alarming video that has just been produced by a rock band where they're using Gurbani in order to promote dancing and the Yogi Bhajan, tantric, and kundalini yoga practice to be done with Gurbani. Now, as I said, this is very disturbing. Just listen here for a few seconds to this video that is still on YouTube. Okay, I think you've got the idea. Now, what is disturbing is this whole album was released in order to promote dancing to Gurbani. Here is the web page for this group. They call the album Kundalini Kritronika, which is inspired, I'm sure, by Yogi Bhajan's teachings. They say as much. It says, these are art grooves. Kritronika merges a dance venue pulse with this Gurbani. It says this anticipated album is be bumping at yoga fests, yoga studios, divinely attuned house parties across the country. So this album is clearly for the purpose of inspiring people to dance to Gurbani, instigating people to use yoga exercises, tantric and kundalini yoga exercises in their practice of, and use Gurbani with it. So you can here see the list and the menu for the album, and it includes several shabads from Gurbani. I also want to point out here this narrative that was published by the group. And in this narrative, one of the group members said that she was inspired by Yogi Bhajan. It says here, Kundalini Yoga is taught by Yogi Bhajan, drawing us into the movement through mantras, beats, and live instruments. So all of this has been clearly instigated by Yogi Bhajan and the 3HO people. It's really sad to see this has come to this. So you can just stop this video, or I'll put a link to this web page for the group, and then you can read their entire narrative about this and see how they came to practice this un-Sikh-like disrespect for Gurbani. Now, I want to point out here how SikhNet has directly inspired these people. This was a video that Gurmustic and Guruka did, I believe it was a few months ago, where they talk about how it's okay to dance to Gurbani. I'll play some of the clips from that video in a second, but first just read some of these excerpts that were written down by the Sikh Free Press in an article which explains how Sikhs in India, Surjit Singh and Wake Up Sikhs, have been promoting a petition to stop these 3HO people and SikhNet from promoting this dancing to Gurbani. Guruka says here, he says, this is about energy in the second tantric yoga chakra. When you're dancing, there's the juice, there's the ecstasy. Understand, sexual energy is sexual energy. Waheguru is ecstasy. Waheguru is dancing. It's just really shameful how SikhNet has been promoting and inspiring these type of dancing to Gurbani. Gurmustic here says they were chanting Waheguru during that portion of the video, and people were just enjoying and moving around and swinging their bodies. There were all these negative comments. I saw something very different. He was speaking about this rock concert that Sanatana Kaur was playing at, where she starts to chant Waheguru, and everybody started dancing. Now here's more proof about how this group has been inspired by Yogi Bhajan. You can see here directly, this was a message that they sent to a Sikh a few days ago. It says here, this mantra in particular we learned through the Kundalini Yoga tradition as taught by Yogi Bhajan. He emphasized a lot of dance and chanting, thus where this music was inspired. Part of our work, we feel, is to bridge worlds to new audiences and new age groups. Now, they've taken down the video from Facebook, the one where they're dancing, but the one on YouTube still remains. And I hope that this group really considers completely taking the album off the market that they created. Looks like they might do that, but we'll see. We still need to keep the pressure on and keep telling them that this is completely against Gurmat teachings. Now this Guruka really has a history of Biadbi against Gurbani. He actually kept Yogi Bhajan's fingernails in his nitnam, or Gut Gasab. This is complete Biadbi against Gurbani. You can read about it in this article that he wrote, this hanging on his fingernails. So Guruka, SikhNet, really has a very poor record, and we should beware of him as Sikhs of the Guru. I'll play for you a little bit of SikhNet's inspirational video here. You can hear what Guruka and Gurmastik have to say about dancing.
Oftentimes I hear topics about people talking about dancing and how dancing is something that is against the Sikh lifestyle, against the Sikh way of life. And I've thought about this often, and I've gone through other processes on my own looking at this, and some of it had to do with, like when I was younger and a teenager and I was a certain phase, and I went out to clubs and I was kind of identifying with my own self, and I know many people who go out drinking, and people relate Bhangra and kind of like some of the maybe negative sides of some certain things that are associated with dancing as bad. And then when I think about and there were all these negative comments, and people were like, oh my God, this is wrong, how can they? And I was, whatever is expressing their self in terms of the way that people relate to dancing and what is considered something that is good or bad. Like, we might have a child who in the joy, that's like a religious experience for them. Or even, one of the things that came up recently, there was a video of Sanatana Kaur. She was at a concert in Barcelona, and there were thousands of people there. Most of those, probably very few of them, were Sikhs. And they were chanting Waheguru during that portion of the video, and people were just in joy and moving around and swaying their body, and there were all these negative comments, and people were like, oh my God, this is wrong, how can they?
The whole universe is dancing. Atoms are dancing. Molecules are dancing. The cells in your body are dancing. The energy is dancing. Everything is dancing. Everything is dancing to the Shabad. The whole universe is moving and dancing. Dancing. Dancing is life. This isn't about dancing. This is about somebody's judgment. Does this mean that as you go up and you become 9, 10 on the holy meter, that means you should always sit absolutely seriously and never move around? Because the more still you sit, the holier you are? You think it's disrespectful to move your body? Look, this is about somebody's judgment, about energy in the second chakra. That when you're dancing, there's a juice, there's a flow, there's the energy is moving, right? And in that, there's an ecstasy. If you want to express that energy through your second chakra, and you know you want to bump and grind and everything, that's how that energy is coming out. But when you act afraid of it, and you say, that's wrong, that's bad, that's lust, this dancing is wrong, therefore, then it becomes all dancing is wrong. Where do you draw the line between good dancing and bad dancing? Between right dancing and wrong dancing? Right? Then you have to say, well, we'll just say all dancing is bad. That's okay. You can say whatever you want. God is still dancing. That's the nature of God. To be moving, to be dancing, to be in a rhythm, to be in a beat. It's the nature of life. The first shabad that a child hears is the mother's heartbeat. Boom, boom, boom. The beat of the heart, the flow of the blood in the mother. That primal rhythm is embedded in the consciousness and being of the child. So it's music and beat and dancing, all these things are just totally natural part of life. It's just that somebody has made some judgment. This is right, this is wrong, this is holy, this is not holy. Understand, sexual energy is sexual energy. Question is not, you should do it or shouldn't do it. Question is, what are you doing? Are you doing it consciously? Are you understanding what's happening? Are you experiencing it with joy? Are you creating some pain through doing it? Are you manipulating somebody through doing it? All of this is about intent and about understanding the energy of your own body, not about somebody's opinion about what's right and what's wrong.